What's up, guys? Today I'm going to show you how to put together the Bella Stunt seat for an R7. Right now I already have mine put together, but I'm going to show you how to take it apart a little bit. Right here we have the tools that we're going to be using. We've got a 10mm wrench. This one does like ratchet stuff, so you could use a socket or whatever too for this piece. And then we'll use a flathead screwdriver to be taking staples out. Don't mind how this looks because I'm not a professional. Pretty much just go around the whole way, getting all the staples up loose, and then come by with pliers or whatever you want to take the staples out. I'll just show you how we get a couple of them up. Just kind of stick it in there. You'll have to do this on your, oh shit. You'll have to do this on your stock seat anyway, so this is somewhat good to show. All right, so I forgot that I've got like staples up under here, so we're just gonna go ahead and take this off. All right, screws off. Washers coming off. And take this thing up. There's a piece, so it kind of like goes up under this part. I don't know when you put it together if you can put it in front of, I don't think you're supposed to put it in front of that, because the way that this thing works is this latch is what latches to the motorcycle, and when you reach up in here and you pull this up, this is how it unlatches. And if you just have this thing sitting on the outside of it, it'll just easily pull. So if you have it behind here, whenever you put the seat together, it's harder to pull. So this is what's gonna help keep your seat from falling off. So I had to like drill a hole through these. I don't know if there's a better way to get a hole in there probably is a better way. There's probably like a hole punch thing, but I just used a drill and it was really sketchy. Okay, last staple. So now one of the things, oh fuck, there's more staples right there. So I guess I'll just mention that real quick. When you get this seat, all of this stuff will be like one piece. And so I don't know if you're supposed to like cut this how I did to spread it out once you're like, I don't know if it stays together or if you cut it or if you try to like take these seams out or what you're supposed to do, because I'm not a professional. But this is just what I did. I just cut it. So yeah. Okay, now we're just gonna peel this shit off. Damn, I just stabbed myself on that. It's pretty clapped, I'm not gonna lie. I put it together wrong the first time and then came back and redid it. So that's why a lot of this like fabric stuff is kind of screwed up. It's gonna be even harder to put on too, so just remember that. Mine will be easier though, because it's already stretched out. So here's the important part. The way that this plastic is like tucked into the foam is like super in there. You see all that? And there's this piece, so if you look at how this is, it's like got that edge. You gotta get that down in here. Also, you'll need I guess that's a tool I forgot to mention, you'll need a Dremel to cut out this square. You can pretty much just use these lines, just cut along these lines. And if you have your foam seat, you can like put the thing under there and mark it out, but just kind of, it doesn't really matter. This thing can be bigger, but I wouldn't cut these off because I feel like these keep a lot of structural support on this plastic. So I would try to keep those. Dang, look how many staple marks there is in this. This thing's fucked up.
It's holy.
All right, what? Oh my gosh. Okay, so now aside from the fabric, we have the seat basically set up like it was stock. So this just should be like, if you're taking it apart the way that I was taking mine apart, this is pretty much where you should be. So we're gonna take this out. I don't know if this is really set up right, but this is basically how it'll be. You'll take off this piece, however it is, if it's set up correctly. And then there's like this thing, so that has to be lined up for the keyhole, and you just push it right out, and then so it just comes out easy. Now the pain in the ass part, one of the things you probably want to make sure is you don't have any like plastic left over from cutting this thing out. Like if you got any plastic on your seat, make sure it's not all over the foam, because then you'll see that stuff through the material. Getting this in there is going to be super annoying. So I think what I'll do is kind of like tuck the corner in there, and then try to get that back part lined up with like the crevice like down in there. Try to get that lined up, and then push in this corner after. And you'll kind of know if it's really in there based off of how this lines up at the back and tucks in with the foam. Looking pretty good, so just make sure that's on there good. I think I'm happy with it. So now we'll get out this clapped out piece of whatever. We'll fold this thing up to the top part of it, because I think that'll make it a little easier. And this is where you can get like soapy water and kind of spray it on this thing, and it should make putting this on easier. Like this seam pretty much lines up with the top end, and these kind of meet at the corner, and then we'll kind of push this up in there, and then this is where yours should be all one piece, and then you'll cut it hopefully better than I did. Now is where you'll need a pneumatic staple gun, or you can use a regular one if you want to. It's gonna suck, so I would get a pneumatic one, and I would try to get one that's gonna have like a longer thing. I'll show you. Okay, so I just want to compare these two real quick. This is like 20 bucks at Home Depot. This is like, I think it was 20, either somewhere between 20 and 40 on Amazon, but you do have to have an air compressor for this one. But you can see how where the staple is going to come out, you have a lot more room on this one, and compared to this one, so like getting up in these tight spaces is not going to be easy. And I'm also going to show you, because you really don't want to cheap out with this because it's going to make your life miserable. When you try to staple this in, not only is it hard, well, that one got lucky. Let me see. Like pretty much half the time, unless you like really get it good, these things are not going to go in more than like halfway. And sometimes, oh shit, sometimes it might even break when they're going in. This is like kind of a, yeah, see, it broke too right there. But this is kind of a big deal kind of step. So I would really recommend you just get like a pneumatic staple gun off of Amazon. Even if it's a cheap one like this one, it works just fine. Just check the reviews, make sure it's like somewhat decent. So now we're just gonna probably like time lapse some of the stapling. We'll show most of it, like how I'm gonna pull it and whatever. I don't know how many staples like this stuff really needs. I'm gonna also staple like 2 of them here. Oh shit, that one's kind of poking in. I might do it. I might not press it as hard this time while I do it. It still did it, whatever. I don't know how many staples it really needs. I kind of go overkill, but there we go. I kind of go overkill, or at least I did, but I think on this run, I'm not gonna go as hard. Watch your fingers. Don't shoot a staple on your finger. So on this back part, you can kind of see how the foam is like that. So what I do here is I'll pull the middle first, and then we'll pull along this flat edge. And like, make sure you're not, like right here, I can tell it's foam. Right here is the plastic. So make sure you're stapling into the plastic also. And okay, now the internal part. This part kind of sucks. I think we'll start by pulling the sides as tight as we can. One right there. That might be too much. I don't know. If you're a professional upholstery person, let me know. I don't know about all this. I might just cut this off. Actually, if it just lays there, I might just go ahead and staple it down. We'll just leave it. I don't really like trying to get rid of extra material, because it's good to, like, if you like redo it or something, to be able to have that to pull on. So I will try to make sure we're not gonna have like wrinkles up in this back piece. It doesn't really matter, like it's not gonna have any effect on your use of the seat, but obviously we just prefer for it to look as good as possible. I kind of messed this up too, I guess. I ripped it somehow. So, get it. There we go. Trying to get it deeper on there, but it kind of doesn't want to go because it's not pressing all the way. I could try to cheese it. Let me see. I'll kind of use this to push it. Wait. Shit. There. It still didn't go as deep as I wanted it. I wanted it more like right there, but it's good enough. Then we'll do the same thing here. See, and like, if I'm having this much problems with stuff like this on a pneumatic one, like imagine trying to get this in there. Like that's not even gonna go all the way up against it. That staple is definitely only gonna go in like halfway. I'll just kind of cheese it again. There we go, that's a good one. Last few. I totally should not be pointing the staple gun at the camera lady, but it won't go off without that thing being pressed down, so you should be safe. And we'll just give a sideways one for good measure right here. And that's good. Pointing the shit at you again. All right, now comes the strap. So comes this part, and you're gonna be reaching in to the seat this way. So the latch will be this way. So this like flat part and the hooks will be pointed forward. This back part will be pointed backwards. We're gonna put this part up under the material, which is also one of the reasons that we kind of staple it down right here, just to make sure it doesn't pull away too easy. All right, so it should be somewhat hard to pull because it's pulling this up right here. You don't want it to be too easy because you don't want your seat to pop off. Let's see, which way is? Okay, this will be tightening it. So then we're gonna tighten this down. Kind of work both sides. But yeah, here's the seat. It's not really that complicated. It looks good enough for me. This saves you like, I don't know, probably like $100 plus having to ship your seat out and not have a rear seat for however long. So I think it's worth just getting the kit. I mean, the only difference is this stuff will just be a little bit less wrinkly from them, but I don't know. It's gonna hold up just perfectly for me, so. Tell them to like and subscribe.
You better like and subscribe.
Don't worry guys, this is not actually a threat to her. Like and subscribe.